I cannot get adjusted, y'all. I'm so sorry. Hold please. This is the BS4 podcast, and I'm your host, Bria Villa. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the BS4 podcast. I'm your host, Bria Villa. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are new here, welcome to the party. If you are a returning listener, thank you for showing up as you always do. I appreciate you. I have been so excited to talk about this week's topic because it actually just came to me a couple days ago, and I spent a few days just thinking on it and journaling about it, and I ended up writing a whole journal entry that I'm going to share with you. But this is a big epiphany for me, I guess. And I actually started the thought process of this on a walk, and then it just kind of continued to evolve as the days went on. And so today I'm going to talk about the difference between chasing and pursuing. And I don't think that I realized how big of a difference there is. And so I wanted to share my thoughts about it and also kind of give you an outlook on how this impacts your life and how society operates right now and the way that you view things. And so it was really eye-opening for me, this whole thought process was. So I've just been excited to share it and talk about it. So today the B is for blocking your blessings, because if you avoid pursuit, feeling as though it's chasing, you will block your blessings. And we don't want to do that, obviously. So let's kind of break down the thought process between the two. So I kind of just want to read from my journal, but if you're anything like me, you have thousands of notes in your phone, and they're just random thoughts that you have throughout the day, something funny you heard, a random to-do list, all the things. But a lot of my notes are just random thoughts that I have throughout the day, and I have to write them down, and then I find my way back to them. And I was on a walk and was kind of having a whole thought process, but obviously I was on a walk, so it's not something I could just stop what I'm doing and start journaling. So what I wrote down was, the difference between chasing and pursuing is the target in one scenario is running. And so I'm going to break this down further, but I actually want to read you my journal entry. So that was the initial thought. That was a few days ago. And then this kind of evolved because after I had that thought, I went to a cafe and kind of sat there and ate by myself and worked there for a few hours. And I started to write in my journal the continuation of that thought. I had food in one hand and my journal in the other, and I just wrote down kind of the evolution of that thought on paper. And then later that night, I came home and wanted to spend more time thinking about it. So I sat down and I started to kind of look at the reason why maybe I confuse or see chasing and pursuit to be similar. And also the impacts of what chasing and pursuing looks like in your life and understanding the difference between the two. So I extended the thought really far because I'm just a deep person. It's my default mode, I think. I can't not be deep. So my brain just goes way further than maybe the initial thought was. And so I typed it out. So I'm going to be referencing a few different things throughout this episode because my notes are kind of everywhere on it. But I wanted to read to you my journal entry, my raw thoughts that I had about this. And I'm going to go between what I typed and what I wrote. I said, I had a thought process recently to reframe my mindset and see myself as the main character in my movie. The title is The Woman Who Doesn't Chase. I actually learned this from a writer that I found on TikTok, by the way. The frame of mind of viewing yourself as the main character in your movie. And she said she labeled her movie The Woman Who Doesn't Chase, and how that really changed her perspective. And I thought that was so interesting. So I took note and started to apply it. I slowly, not in every decision, but in some, I slowed down to see what that means and what that feels like. And so there I was sitting on my couch following a good gardening session. Unfortunately, my friends, not unfortunately, it's not unfortunate at all. I spent 6 months being sober and then recently decided to reintroduce a few things. And so gardening has been a part of my routine again. And also, no shame around that. I'm fully happy with my decision. I think that I gave myself a really good run of just experiencing sobriety, but also miss the creative freedom and thought process that came with, yeah. So that's my raw, honest update. Because I know that a lot of y'all kind of went on the sobriety journey with me. So I also want to make sure that I clear that up. I don't feel the need to further explain myself, but just know. That's what happened. So anywho, I said I was sitting on my couch following a good gardening session and trying to delineate the feeling of chasing versus pursuing. And it came down to one simple thing: the subjects. The only difference between chasing and pursuing is whether or not the subject is running. You are chasing if the subject is running from you, if it doesn't want to be held, bound, or caught. Pursuit is different. The subject can be waiting, the subject can be standing still or moving, but not intentionally away from you. And that is the difference. After realizing that, I started to process why the line is so fine between pursuing and chasing. And then it hit me on where we've lost the plot. So that's where I'm going to transition to the journal. And I said, we're losing the will to pursue because of our pride and because of our laziness. With access to everything at our fingertips and the very nonchalant culture that we live in, we confuse pursuit for chasing. We feel that going hard for something, love, relationships, careers, opportunities, dreams, is chasing, when in reality, it's necessary. Chasing means the subject is running from you. It does not want to be caught. It does not want to be held. It does not want to be owned. It does not want to be had. Pursuit is an effort towards something that is not running from you. It's idle or it's moving, but in its own way and not intentionally away from you. Which I kind of repeated myself. But obviously, 2 different entries, and I want to share both. I said, we're losing the plot of pursuit. Hopefully you're sticking with me. Now we're going back to my journal entry, which, let's take a pause. As I'm sitting here thinking about this and saying it out loud, it feels even more real for me. I guess it feels more true. Now I'm reflecting on it in hindsight versus when I was actively having the thought. And so back to my journal, I said, we give up on our dreams because we're not getting the results fast enough, because we're used to typing questions and getting answers immediately in our day-to-day lives. We give up on our partners because the relationship and life got too real, because there's thousands of other people on social media and options are endless. We neglect the people in our company, sitting all around us, to look at other people on our screens post the highlight reels of their lives. Meanwhile, life is existing all around us as we do that, because it's easier to move your fingers than it is to have conversations with strangers or with people you know, for that matter. We feel that anything outside of ease is a chase. We've conditioned ourselves to believe that with gratification, it doesn't matter how it comes to you, as long as it's easy. Then, when something requires pursuit, we think it's a chase. We correlate effort with negativity versus rewarding. So we've stopped pursuing what we want because extra effort is not compatible with the ease of everything else around you. Those who will evolve, who will make it into the next generation of us, are going to be the people that pursue, who don't chase what's running from them, but pursue the things they desire, knowing it's within reach if you put the effort in. That dreams, love, joy, kindness, service are all worth pursuing, and that we'll never run out of it as long as we never stop our pursuit. I think I had this thought, as I said, because I started to picture kind of some of my actions and the things that I do through the lens of this main character of this movie called The Woman Who Doesn't Chase. And I started to think about, well, where does the line blur between chasing and pursuing? And I was like, because if there's something that I want and I'm going after it, is that chasing? And I'm trying to like picture myself as this main character of The Woman Who Doesn't Chase. And I'm like, what things, what decisions am I making in life that align with the theme of my movie? And I started to think about what chasing really was. And at one point, I think I had questioned like doing this podcast, not questioning doing the podcast. I had questioned whether what I'm doing is chasing. Like, am I chasing anything by doing this? And then I was like, well, it's a dream of mine that I guess you could say I'm chasing. But then I had like the thought process of like, well, it's not running from me. Therefore, I'm not chasing it. I'm just pursuing it. For me to attain, because I attain it every single day that I turn the camera on, turn the mic on, think of a topic, prepare, get in front of you, I'm obtaining it. I'm holding it. I'm carrying it. And then I think that just had me realize that, oh no, it's not chasing. I'm not chasing this podcast. I'm not chasing this dream. I'm pursuing it. It's there for me to have. It's there for me to do, and I do it. But the continuation of doing it is that relentless pursuit. And I was like, oh, well, in that case, the biggest difference between chasing and pursuing is what the subject of it is doing. Is it running from you? Does it not want to be held? Does it not want to be owned? Does it not want to be obtained? And so it's actively trying to get away from you. Or is it doing its own thing, whether it's still, whether it's in motion? It doesn't mean that it's running from you. You're just going to come to be aligned with it in the right timing as long as you pursue it. And I feel like because we have such a nonchalant culture where people are too afraid to show what they care about, when people don't feel like they should have to work as hard for things in life because everything is so easy to us, because everything is so simple to us now. It's like people don't even have critical thought. You ask AI a very simple question and you don't even have to think about what the answer is at this point. And so we're so used to things being so easy that because ease is our default setting, we think pursuit, we think effort, we think dedication, we think time, we think passion is chasing because it's not easy. And we recognize or we correlate chasing with being hard. And pursuit is difficult too, but pursuit is always rewarding. You'll never run out of love as long as you pursue it. You'll never run out of freedom as long as you pursue it. You'll never run out of joy as long as you pursue it. It's not running from you. It's there for you to have. You just have to put the work in to feel it, to have it. And we spend so much time worried about what we're chasing because everything feels hard to have that we've lost the plot of pursuit and how important it is to pursue the things that you want, to pursue your partner, regardless of how many years you've been together, because you can have endless amounts of your partner as long as you pursue them, as long as you continue to show them they're important, as long as you put the effort in with them. We've forgotten that things worth having need to be pursued because we're lazy, because everything is so easy that we just do whatever's easiest. We choose the easiest option. And another note that I wrote down a few days ago was Just because it's the path of least resistance doesn't mean it's going in the right direction. Just because it's easy, just because there's options, just because it's not difficult, doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. It just has the lowest access barrier. But we choose that. We choose that a lot. We choose that over and over again. It's harder to make conversation with a stranger or with a group of people than it is to just doom scroll on your phone. So what do? We all sit in a circle. The people you care about most, the people you can learn so much about, the people that you can have conversations with and build community with, we sit together and we stare at our screens because it's easier. In your relationships, regardless of the type, like not even your romantic relationships, the people that you care about also should be pursued. The relationship you have with them should be pursued. And initially I was thinking about a lot of this, or I was thinking of like chasing and pursuing through the frame of dating and what feels like a chase, and I don't want to chase men and like that thought process. But the reality is, and I think dating in general, like I feel like men feel like they don't want to chase women, and it's like, but we have to pursue each other. And should a man pursue me more? Yes, in my opinion, but pursuit has to happen. But now we're like, oh, that's chasing, because we're so nonchalant about everything, because relationships we think are supposed to be as easy as ChatGPT giving you an answer in 30 seconds. Like, no. The things worth having, the most important things in life, are not easy to obtain. They require pursuit all the time. So we're losing the plot of like what it is to care about something. I just feel like that's not something that we can afford to lose. I don't know, maybe I think about this in a couple ways, but I think as a person, you can't afford to lose the importance of pursuit. If you do, I think evolution will do what it naturally does. I think evolution will show us the fittest, because naturally that's what we are by nature. It's survival of the fittest. That's how it's always been. And so I think there will come a point where the people who are chosen are the people who pursue. I think the people who elevate are going to be the people who recognize that and don't allow your laziness, or don't allow laziness to dictate their path, their destiny, their choices. So to backtrack, I think it's important to understand what you should pursue, what you should relentlessly pursue. And to me, those things are love, peace, harmony, joy, service, kindness, laughter, like community. If you have a different way of looking at things, okay, I don't know. But I think those are the things that you should relentlessly pursue, and everything that falls in alignment with that. And to stop viewing effort and determination as lame just because nonchalant culture tells you it is. Caring is cool. Pursuit is cool. Effort is cool. Giving a damn is cool. So I've talked about chasing in past episodes and how when you chase things in life, it kind of pushes them away from you. And I think in hindsight, after having this whole thought process, I don't really change my stance on that. But I think that that's not to be mistaken with pursuit. It's not to be mistaken for pursuit. And so as I kind of go through the evolution of my own journey and thinking about who I want to be and what matters to me, I want to keep in mind this narrative, this title of my movie being The Woman That Doesn't Chase, but with a little asterisk, with a little plus, with a little addition, and say the woman that doesn't chase, but relentlessly pursues, because I want my decisions to be in alignment with the active pursuit of things that are good, of things that I know are aligned to my values, the things that I know will help me lead a good life, without thinking that that level of effort is chasing, quote unquote, and that there's nothing wrong with pursuit. Not even nothing's wrong with pursuit that we should pursue. So I want to round this out in the same way that I rounded out my journal entry. Those who will evolve, who will make it to the next generation of us, are going to be the people that pursue, who don't chase what's running from them, but pursue the things they desire, knowing it's within reach if you put the effort in. That dreams, love, joy, kindness, and service are always worth pursuing, and that those things, if pursued every day, will be something that we always have and never run out of as long as we never stop our pursuit. And that is it for this week. I hope that this resonated well with you. I hope that it's changed your mindset a little bit on, or maybe not changed your mind, but opened your mind to the difference between pursuit and chasing. And if you have questions or thoughts, of course, always reach out to me, but also share this with a friend that you think would need to hear this message, or that you think this message would be good for them to hear. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, rate the show, follow the show, share it with the people you love, and give yourself just like a big hug today, a good pat on the back. You're doing great, and I appreciate you for being here, as always. Never stop the pursuit. See you next week.